Good trader, you don't really need to have a university degree. In markets in general, you need to have this humble mentality. In order to be successful, you need to work harder than the rest because you are never smarter than the market. Majority of the prop firms, the conditions are really bad. It's not an easy road, but it's probably the most interesting road anybody could take. Top 100 best traders in the world are trading with us.
Hello everyone, this is the Trading Pit and we're happy to welcome you to our new series dedicated to the heart and soul of our company, the Trading Pit founder, Illimar Mattus. In this series, we will learn who the real person behind the Trading Pit is, what motivated Illimar to start trading in the first place, and what role did Michael Douglas play in it, and finally, how did Illimar Mattus become a successful startup founder from a simple trader. Hello, Illimar.
Hi, Elina.
Welcome. How are you today?
Very good. Thank you.
Are you ready to answer my questions?
Yes, depends on the question.
Well, I hope you'll be as honest as possible. Probably you're interviewed a lot, aren't you?
Yeah, lately, yes, it happens quite a lot.
Did you have any very strange question that you didn't want to answer?
Well, because I'm in the trading world and it's related to money. That one of the last questions I got was that how much money I have in the bank account.
Well, that would be a very clickbaiting story, I'm telling you. Well, I'm not going to ask you that, although I really wanted to. But anyway, let's move on to asking some real serious question. And just as a warm-up, I read in your LinkedIn profile that you speak 5 languages. Is that true?
Yes, I like languages, and for me it's been somewhat easy, like to learn new languages, especially when I like it. And the last language I've learned is Spanish, so I like Spanish language.
Well, that's incredible. So you speak English, Estonian, Russian, Finnish, and Spanish. So with that, you basically cover half of the world.
Yes, I can speak with a lot of people and with a lot of our clients and partners, so in their native language. So I think it's a benefit.
Yeah, it's definitely a benefit when you run an international business, isn't it?
So far, it has been. Yeah.
Do you think it's essential for a trader to speak many languages?
In the trading world, majority of the terms that traders use are in English. So, for example, in my native language, in Estonian, when I talk to fellow traders, then a lot of the words that we're using are actually in English language. Spreads, margins, trends, a lot of the words are in English.
Okay, so at least English is essential, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's get down to business. Like you probably do like. So in this interview, I want to explore your journey from a simple trader to a financial startup founder. And I know that you studied finance in university. Would you say that this influenced your decision to become a trader?
I think university in general, it's like an important place, and I definitely got to know a lot of different people and friends and later business partners. But I think university for me, why it was important was that it teaches you the concepts of how to learn and how to evolve in various like aspects of work and business and I think that was quite important. To be frank, if I would go back and try to remember my macroeconomics or math classes in the university, I don't really use anything really that I learned there. But I think it just trains the mind to become better in your daily life, in the business, in the work, and to think critically and have methods and ways how to learn new stuff.
So basically, the sphere of your education is not that important. What important is to have education because this way you learn.
Definitely, and I think it's also like today when I'm hiring people, I always like first thing I look okay, which university the person graduated and what grades and etc. And so it's kind of the base to start growing further. But since we are in the trading business, then I think that In order to become like a good trader, you don't really need to have a university degree. In fact, some of the traders that I know that are very successful, they don't have university degree. Some of them are actually dropouts. So the fact that you have or not a university degree does not really make you a good trader or not.
Well, probably it sounded quite relieving for many of the inspiring traders right now. So tell me, how did you personally become inspired or motivated to trade? And what role did Michael Douglas play in it?
I've shared the story a bit before as well. So I think I was like 13 or 14, and we lived with our family in a small village in Estonia, in a small apartment. And one evening, I don't know how, but there was this Wall Street movie on the TV, and it just got drew so much attention, because when I saw that, Michael Douglas in his office, which was like bigger than our apartment building, like with 4 different phones, different screens, the view on New York, constantly phones ringing, the ticker tape with the stock prices, and the dynamics, the power, and it just got me so interested in financial markets and in trading. And from that point on, I started like reading about this stuff, watching like more movies about trading. My mother was so helpful, so she actually subscribed to an Estonian only daily business newspaper. So in our village there were only like 2 subscribers. One was the owner of the only small shop we had in the village, and the other was my mother's. And I remember like after school, oftentimes, I went home, and instead of going out and play with the friends outside, I just started reading this business daily newspaper, like what's happening on the markets, what businesses are growing, what businesses have issues, who are the key players in the industry, and I was just so excited. I still don't know why, but it was like it was something for me. I just got inspired about this, the life outside of the village, bankers moving money, traders moving the markets, so much happening on the geopolitical front as well, and it was so exciting.
When was it? Like approximately?
It was somewhere around like 94, 4-ish.
Yeah, quite an interesting period for Estonia as well. Well, that's quite interesting to know that you already knew what you want to dedicate your life to since such a young age. So I thought that university affected your desire to start trading, but apparently you chose the path, the financial path in university because of trading.
I think there's like every person has like certain traits or certain genes in themselves, and for me it's not just trading, it was like business in general. So when I was in the high school, I organized with friends like dance evenings. So I was like a DJ at school, and we were doing a lot of stuff like and like business entrepreneurship. Like taking a challenge and resolving some challenge, it's like always interesting for me, and even now, like when I walk around the city, I see like a new office of some new company. I always think, okay, what is really their business? Like, how are they making money? What's the essence of like running this business? What challenges they have, and it's just interesting for me.
That's really cool. That sounds like your hobby has actually become your job. Talking about university and after university, you started your professional career somewhere else, or you already dedicated your time to full-time trading, or?
So university is like it actually started at the university. So when I was on the 2nd grade in the university, then one of my friends invited me to work at one private equity fund. and which was in Estonia. So I started working there, doing financial analysis, and later on I worked like I think 6 years there. So later on I became like a board member in some of the companies that we invested in, and I was probably the youngest investment officer throughout the whole organization. So it was like a US-based private equity fund management company. And it was like funny that how a 24-year-old guy can be a board member in some company where the actual CEO is like 50 years old. But Estonia was like evolving so fast and developing so fast. So in general, in a lot of places, there were young people working in these positions. But and through this job and after the university as well, I was always like connected to the financial markets, to the financial industry, to the capital markets, working with raising funds for other companies, helping them do IPOs and raise capital in general. So that was like my core business, like a day job. And then outside of this day job, I had like a trading, I was like a trader. So I traded the US stock and options market, futures market, and futures options. So I had like 2 jobs at the same time.
Well, that's very, I would say, impressive career start. So from being a hired employee, how did you become an individual business owner?
It was interesting because Estonia was really small and still is small. But when I worked at this private equity fund, what happened was that a lot of the companies that came to the fund and asked for investment. So we didn't invest in a lot of companies. But oftentimes what would happen was that some of these entrepreneurs told me that, listen, okay, I understand that your fund doesn't want to invest in our company for XYZ reasons, but can you help us to raise funds? We have this great business plan. We are like cool guys. We have this great idea. And then what happened was that I started helping outside of my working hours to like create business plans and raise funds for these companies. So eventually what happened was that I left the fund, and the next morning I went to my own office already and started helping companies do IPOs, raise capital.
So your first business was an investment company.
It was basically like an investment advisory company, whereas we help to just do operations on the capital markets and raise funds.
Okay, but now you're known as the Trading Pit founder and also founder of the Tik Mill. So tell me, how did you found your first big business?
When I left the private equity firm and for a couple of years I was raising capital for other businesses, then at the same time I was trading as well. So since 1997 I've been trading the markets. So that's 27 years, I think now. And eventually sometime in like 2006 or 2005 if I remember correctly, I started trading the markets professionally. And with my twin brother, so we raised also funds from outside investors. So we actually had like a portfolio management service. So people would send their funds to us, we would trade them on the markets, and we would get the cut of the profits. And this was like, it was very successful business for us because we could trade so well, and it seemed like it's like a perfect scenario because I always wanted to be on the markets, trade the markets. I could already see that, hey, we have these investors out there, and like I'm getting closer to this Michael Douglas.
Yes, I wanted to ask, when did you finally reach the point when you already felt like him?
So this like we were so close to getting this like Gordon Gekko like situation. We already had our office, like this huge windows with like nice view on Tallinn. And then what happened was that in 2007 and 2008, when the crisis, the big financial crisis started, the market dynamics changed. And they changed in a way that when the central bank started printing money, so the volatility disappeared on the markets. There wasn't a lot of volatility. Markets were like steady. They were going steadily up, which is good for investors if you invest long time. But it was bad for us because we were trading intraday. We didn't see so many opportunities. And then we took a decision, okay, let's find something else, because we don't make money on the markets anymore. And because we had traded so many years with some of the largest brokers in the world, like Interactive Brokers, RJ O'Brien, ADM, Lind Waldock, which is not even there anymore. So we had this experience from the brokerage side. And also my brother, he worked as a head of dealing in one other broker. So we decided we switched the tables. And in 2010, we took a decision that we'll start our own brokerage company. Because we were traders, we had worked with so many different brokers. We knew like what we liked in this broker, what we didn't like in that broker, what we as traders need from the broker. And we switched the side, we started our own broker, and this is really how Tickmill started.
How did you realize that there is opportunity there? Like there were already so many brokerage firms, like you said, and what was your niche? How did you differentiate yourself on this market?
So we noticed, for example, that at that time in like 2010, 11, there were like 4,000 or 5,000 brokers out there, like globally. And the problem at that time was that majority of these brokers had very wide spreads, very slow execution. So for us as a trader, we just looked at these different brokers and we thought that, oh, if we want to trade with these guys, we actually can't be profitable with these guys because the spreads are really wide, execution is slow. There are like constant problems with execution. The brokers were not really like transparent either, because you went to the homepage of a broker, you didn't see like who are really the owners of this broker or who is the management of this broker. And then we just thought that, okay, let's come to the market with a broker that has very tight spreads, very fast execution. We had our own names, photos, even mobile phone numbers on our homepage. And let's start building the business. And what was really strange was that our business started growing really fast, pretty much from the beginning.
Why it surprises you? Wouldn't you do all these analytics, market analysis to understand whether your business will be prosperous or not? But you say that it was surprising.
It was surprising from that sense because so I'm coming from like a small village and it's in Estonia. So if you think of that, then like what is the probability of anybody coming from this background can become successful on a global level working on the financial markets? Like the probability is probably like very low. And we always had this, and even today I have like this humbleness towards like new opportunities or new businesses or in general towards life as well. That I always think that I have to work extra hard to prove myself and to prove the value of the companies that I'm invested in. So I'm just like working always extra hard.
Like how it's called this syndrome when you kind of like doubt in yourself despite all the achievements. I think it's quite typical for people who have a lot of achievements. So knowing you as a successful person, you don't see yourself like this, or you just prefer not to get too arrogant about it?
I don't know. Like it's really strange because like if I look, for example, Tickmill today, then it's an extremely successful company with 300 employees with like hundreds and hundreds of millions euros of revenue. So one would probably think that, okay, I'm like, maybe even arrogant or like I'm so like of high opinion of myself, but we're still like like my brother and myself, we are really down to earth. And I think in business you need this humbleness, and I think in markets in general, in financial markets, you need to have this humble mentality, because you are never smarter than the market. You don't have as much capital as the market has. You always need to be humble on the market, and in business as well. And I think you always, like, in order to be successful, you need to work harder than the rest.
Well, that sounds like the trading mentality that you obtained throughout years really helped you also. Like it's all a very good combination. Your business, the view of the business, and your trading abilities, like they all came very well together. I wanted to ask how, like you mentioned that you became a professional trader. How do you realize for all our aspiring traders when this moment comes when you are a professional?
I think like a lot of people don't even reach that level, and for various reasons. Like just quickly, I can mention that majority of the traders, they always trade against the trend. They never have stop losses. They don't limit their losses in general, and even though when they have great ideas to trade, then because of their poor risk management, they don't reach this success. Like. And in my case, for example, it took me actually years to become profitable in trading. And eventually, like when I was making money on the market, and my brother as well, like we came to this conclusion that okay, we probably are consistent enough in trading that we can now go out and attract like third party capital. And but we could have probably done it much sooner. And also the challenges that we faced again coming to Estonia. So like in 2006-07 we tried to set up our own regulated hedge fund, and I remember we called like big fund management centers like in the Cayman Islands, in British Virgin Islands, in Luxembourg, etc. And you call them, and say that, hey, we are this proprietary trading company from Estonia. We would like to set up a fund. Like, could you help us? Like, majority of the guys just drop the phone, because what do you mean? Like somebody from Estonia, hedge fund? It just like doesn't
match.
it doesn't match. And I think this is something that a lot of the like successful traders, like who are trading successful their own money, they have in terms of making the leap. Like you may be consistently trading profitably, you have good track record, but to make from this the leap to actually starting to manage like third party capital, it's super difficult. And I think this is like also where we, from the trading pit, we come to the play.
Well, yeah. Tell a little bit about the trading pit, because from what I see, you're very consistent. You kind of like don't rush with your decisions, but at the same time, you said that the brokerage firms that you worked with were quite slow and etc. So you wanted to create something more dynamic. So I see like prop trading was something what you actually were leaning towards, despite the fact that you started a brokerage firm first. Why not proper trading?
Like what has happened during the last year is Tik Mill has been extremely successful as a business. Then we have had resources to invest outside, and my passion has always been to find successful traders, to connect with these traders, and to surround myself, with this community of successful traders, to go out to share ideas. And so I've been always like in search of successful traders, not just to invest into them, but also like to surround myself with them. And then a couple of years ago, when I started looking at this prop trading industry, it struck me like how many similarities in the prop trading business are with the time when we started the broker. So if you go out there today, then majority of the prop firms, the conditions are really bad. With majority of the prop firms, you go out there, you don't see like who are the founders, who are the directors, even employees. Like it's like this black box, and the trading conditions are difficult. So even though you might be a good trader, if you go to like a lot of these prop firms, the conditions are so bad that you are not able to make money. And so I saw an opportunity that it's effectively like Tik 2.0, that it's just like there's a broker, and now there's like a prop firm, and the variables, the market situation, the industry is exactly in the same place like brokerage industry was 15-20 years ago. And plus it helps me go back to my roots. So it helps me to connect like with successful traders, to help the successful traders. And my big dream is that in 3-4 years, we would reach the level where top 100 best traders in the world are trading with us.
Well, knowing your determination and dedication, let's hope that it will happen and your dream comes true.
I hope it will happen. I'm sure it will happen because we have so great team. We have put so much resources and efforts into this. And I think we are on the right course reaching that.
Since we're talking about dreams, etc., I wanted to ask a little, some more personal questions, because now I have a picture of you as an entrepreneur and a trader, but in this very busy schedule and basically your life starting one business after another, always finding opportunities to invest, do you have time for hobbies? Who are you behind like the screens?
There isn't anything there.
No.
I actually like, so when we started Tikmill, I used to work 12 to 16 hours a day. So now I work maximum, and that was during the weekend as well, by the way.
Those who want to start their own business, think of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody out there who wants to start their own business, you can't think it in a way that, okay, I will work 8 hours a day and I'm going to be successful. No way you're going to be successful. Outside of work, so today I work like 7-8 hours a day. I try to like spend a lot of resources and time to selecting the right people in different companies and businesses that where I'm involved in, which leaves me time to stuff outside of the work. So I'm a father of 4 kids as well.
Wow.
I spend a lot of time with the kids. I like to do a lot of sports, mostly windsurfing and biking. A couple of years ago, I started also surfing lessons, but I'm really bad in this.
Well, I would say surfing would require even more determination than trading to reach success.
And it's like normal life. So I go out with friends. I don't have many friends because over the years, because I was training.
You didn't invest much into friends, right?
So over the years, because I was training so much, then I missed a lot of like events and stuff where friends invited me. So eventually they stopped inviting me because I was like 12 hours checking the charts and doing trading. So I have some really, really good friends. I like to read a lot, and still today I'm checking the markets every day. So even today I have trades open on the market. I don't take so much risk anymore on the markets, but every morning I wake up, first thing I watch what happened during the Asian session in the markets. And every evening, just before going to sleep, I check for 5-10 minutes what's been going on the markets today. Like so I know at any given time where the markets are trading right now.
So right now it's more like a hobby, like a relaxed time for you rather than part of your job.
It's changed a lot, yes. So it's I tend to do rather like more long-term investments now, and in companies as well, but I do also some trading, but with like very low risk. And I do it just because I need it for myself. Like I need to be in sync with the markets, and because most of my businesses are trading or financial related as well. It benefits my daily work and in interactions with other traders when I know what's happening on the markets. I know the latest like trends, technologies. Like,
Well, to wrap up this conversation, I wanted to do a little blitz, when you need to choose one of the options. So nothing crazy, don't worry. For starters, coffee or tea?
Coffee,
Book or Netflix?
book,
Watching football or playing football?
playing football,
Apple or Android?
Android.
I think this is the end. I think now we know who the person behind the trading pit is, and it is very, very interesting. Maybe you want to say some motivational words for the traders who are thinking about developing their career professionally towards this direction. Like, what would be your advice?
So if I go back when I started in 1997, you didn't have like free tools, free access to markets. You didn't have like trading academies, mentors. A lot of the stuff that we take for granted today, we didn't have them. So I just want to say to the people like who are interested in trading that just go out there, like go to some local trading academy club. Open a demo account with some broker or even with a prop firm such
With
as
a trading
ours,
pit.
and just start step by step. Become part of some community, surround yourself with other fellow traders. Pick a market where you think you have some edge. So, for example, if your father is a goldsmith, or your like parents work in I don't know, Coca-Cola, like start with the beverage industry, because you can always ask your father or somebody around you, like, okay, what do you think about Coca-Cola, or what do you think about the sugar prices, because a lot of sugar goes into the drinks. And start from one market and start experimenting with certain strategies that you can read on in the internet, and discuss some of this stuff with your friends, with the mentors, and step by step. And the road is not an easy road, but it's probably the most interesting road anybody could take, because markets, I just love them. It's like every day is different. So many events are happening, like something is going up, something is dropping, like there are interrelations between asset classes, it's such an interesting world. And I do recommend everybody to try at least. And if it works, you can become extremely successful also financially. If it doesn't work, you at least have tried it.
Well, it's always interesting to hear such passion from a person who is really passionate about what he does. So I think your words would really inspire people and our viewers. So thank you, Illimar. Next time we will talk more about your trading journey. So be prepared, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you, guys.